YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Boda back in the building for another new Genesis PSO2 video. You just saw a meteor go crash in the sky over here, which is pretty dope. It looks like that's how these towers spawn. I'm gonna go ahead and just work my way over here while we talk about today's topic, and that is actually going to be about 4-star gear and how to determine which set is right for you. There are definitely a couple factors to consider when you're hunting for your 4-star gear. Things that I've only discovered while approaching the end game. You can see I'm level 15. You know, plenty of people watching this are probably already level 20 and up, may already know this advice, but I still want to make things that you know, are relevant to my findings and may help people who have come after me. If you haven't noticed by now, each piece of armor actually comes with a certain title to it. Almost kind of like a brand name for each armor piece or each equipment piece. You've got your prims, then you've got some resurgears, I think is how you say it. You've also got the ones that I have equipped now, if I can find a decent hiding spot. We also have the Forces daggers. That's the current set that I'm using now. When I was going to upgrade those daggers, I noticed that, wow, I don't know what just happened, but they all just died immediately. Oh man, I had to focus there for a second. But as I was saying, when I was going to upgrade my weapon, I noticed that you could unlock the potential of it. And here you go, you can see that for the Forces daggers, the specific potential that you unlock is potency plus 18%. This is at level 1 also. Creates a barrier that provides damage resistance plus 40% when at max HP. And I thought to myself, you know, that sounds cool. Potency is nice. However, that secondary effect doesn't seem as good as one of the potentials that I had unlocked on my 3-star weapons. So for the Troy Day daggers, you could see that the potential here, potency 19%, critical hit rate increased based on attack up to a maximum of 15% up to at 2000 attack. And so trying to figure out what these potentials meant, I did a bit of digging, and it's related to the topic I addressed at the beginning of the video, how each of these weapons has a certain title attached to it, right? Troy Day, whatever the weapon is, Forces, Civia, they all have fixed potentials for that specific brand. And this is what I wanted to highlight because rather than dump, you can see it's a pretty costly amount of 20 photon chunks and then 40 monotites, right? These are where those specific mining materials are going to come into use. You're going to need to farm those up quite heavily in order to unlock these potential levels. This is just level 1. I can imagine it gets very, very expensive as you move up in those levels. I mean, we can see here that it would cost another 30 and then 20 to get to level 2, but this is on a 3-star. Remember, it's going to be more expensive on these 4 stars. After identifying that, we can then say to ourselves, okay, well, which 4-star brand, right? Which brand is right for me and the objective that I'm trying to achieve? These Forces weapons seem to be good for a more tank style class if you want to reduce your damage by a significant amount on that first hit. And it gives you that potency, which is your weapon damage that you're able to do. It gives you a little bit in that area as well. But if we pull up this chart, I want to give a huge shout out to the Discord, Fantasy Star Online 2 Discord, in which they have a section for New Genesis. I'm going to put a link to that Discord so that you can access it anytime you'd like. It took me a bit of Google searching to find it, find out that New Genesis doesn't have its own, but you have to go into the original PSO2 Discord and whatnot. But I'm going to pull that up right now so we can look at it together. So again, huge shout out to Amaru for posting this up, because I caught the chat right when I joined in. Someone was saying that Resurgear is probably better, and this was specifically for fighters, right? They were discussing the fighter class, which is what I main currently. And Maru broke down the 4-star brands, I'm going to call it, or classes, and what the potentials do. You can see Catalia gives you that percentage potency and then extra 5% for having high current HP. I'm not sure what that threshold is. Forces, as we saw, gives you that potency plus some damage reduction when full health. Vialto, okay, this gives you percentage potency, and up to 15% PP recovery from attacks and natural PP regen. Keep your eye on that. We're going to come back to Vialto in a second. And then we have Resurger, which is that percentage potency, and 18% crit rate for 30 seconds when successfully dodging an attack, right? So you look at those, and just to give it a bit of context, right? So immediately as a fighter, as a DPS role, my eye goes to the Vialto and the Resurger, right? Resurger honestly caught my eye first because upon that successful dodge, you get that crit rate for 30 seconds, which is quite nice. Maru continues to flesh out that point and says there's a 3% delta, which means there's a 3% difference in the potency between Resurger and Vialto. Which the crit have to make up for, and the 2 weapon damage. So I am assuming, I believe Resurger is the level 11 4-star weapons that are available right now, and the Vialto are the 14 level required weapons. So there is that, like he's saying, 2 weapon damage difference, which doesn't sound like much, but right, we're taking everything into consideration here. And then 15% crit is roughly an extra 3% damage, but Resurger proc is not always active. Plus, you don't have the PP recovery, which if we look back at Vialto, you get PP recovery from, I'm guessing, regular attacks, and you just have a natural PP regen, so you can launch your right clicks, launch your shift attacks more often, which is going to equate to more damage, I think, in the long run. And that's what Maru was saying at the end. TLDR, it's weaker. I think he was just pointing out that Resurger is probably weaker in your long run and when you're looking at all things considered. Right, that is one scenario of why you'd want to pick probably Vialto as your most desired weapon type currently for a fighter, and I imagine it's pretty significant. That's pretty freaking powerful, that PP recovery. All classes seems like it's pretty busted. If you saw in the beginning, I was farming at the laboratory. So if we check out our map here, right, Vanford Laboratory Ruins, once you can take on the rank 2 class enemies, which you get after you hit BP 1184, as a lot of us already know, you can swap between rank 1 and rank 2 with the arrow keys. Put your enemies from level 10 to level 15 when you move up. I'm going to go ahead and teleport there since we are on a mission, right? Because the laboratory is where you farm the Vialto weapons. I'm not completely sure where you farm the other ones, but because I am maining fighter class, this is my main goal. This is what I have learned, and I wanted to get this info out to you. For anyone who may have stumbled across this video and hasn't seen other videos talking about anything of a similar topic, I just wanted to point this out, that your Vialto gear sounds like it's some of the best in slot for most of your classes, especially for DPS, right? Anyone you're trying to charge up your PP bar as often as possible, and this is a good way to do it with your Vialto gear. But then, like I said, you need to determine which class is going to be right for you. At the time I'm recording this, 4-star is as high as we can go. Those are the only classes that we can farm as of now. But I wanted to get this video out there. Whenever they release different class weapons or higher star upgraded weapons, I'll try and cover that as well. But for the time being, those are the classes we can pick. And I'm going to get started on my farm. I hope this taught you something about the 4-star weapons and why it's important to determine which route you're trying to go, because you'll want to reserve those resources. We saw it's quite expensive. You want to reserve those resources for whichever weapon you are going to main moving forward. So future Buddha here, something else I forgot to point out that I should mention while talking about this subject, because it relates to grinding out your weapons via farming whatever area or region that you're going to target. Whenever you get a rare drop, you have the potential at getting a weapon with a Fixa attachment. This is going to be the orange description that you see. Fixa attack level 2 gives an extra buff for that specific weapon. I think you can get up to level 5, which is the highest at the moment. But as you can see, it's very desirable. If you check the shops, you'll notice that the Fixa weapons that come with the attachments are very desirable. Looks like I am getting attacked right here. They are very, very desirable, sought after, and expensive for that reason. So just keep that in mind, that this is why world grinding is very important to do when you're talking about your end game farming, because you're looking not only to get the rare 4-star drop, but also things with that fixa attachment. All right, as I approach this boss, guys, please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, if it helped you out at all, or if you're just excited to get into this game. Keep on grinding, because man, here we go. The grind is real in this game. It is no slouch, but it's what we sign up for when we're playing our MMORPG like games. So I'm going to continue to fight this guy. I'm probably going to need to focus, so that's all I got for you this time. As this boss is frozen, y'all know what we say. Work hard, play harder. See ya in the next video.